You spent the first 3 years of your life learning to walk, to talk, to make sense of the world, and you remember absolutely none of it. Try it right now. Close your eyes and reach for the earliest memory you have. Not from school, not from when you were 5 or 6. I mean, really early. Your first birthday, your first step, the smell of your crib. Nothing, right? Just a blank. And here's the thing, that's not a personal failure. That's not because you had a boring childhood or a bad memory. That happens to every single person who has ever lived. Scientists call it infantile amnesia, and for most of history, nobody could explain it. But over the last 30 years, researchers have finally started to crack the mystery, and the answer is far stranger than anyone expected. For a long time, the explanation seemed obvious. Babies are basically blank slates. No language, no memory. If you don't have words to label an experience, how could you possibly store it? Then Sigmund Freud offered a darker theory. In 1905, he argued that we actively repress our earliest memories, that they're too raw, too overwhelming, too tangled up in primal urges for our adult minds to handle. The brain buries them, on purpose. Both theories sound plausible. Both are almost entirely wrong. Here's what the experiments reveal. Babies do form memories. We can prove it. In a now famous series of studies, psychologist Carolyn Rovey Collier tied a ribbon from a 6-month-old's ankle to a mobile hanging above the crib. The babies quickly figured out the connection and started kicking deliberately to make it move. When researchers brought the same mobile back 2 weeks later, the babies remembered. They started kicking immediately. 3-year-olds can describe birthday parties, trips to the hospital, moments with grandparents in vivid, accurate detail. Ask the same children 10 years later, gone. All of it. So the memories are being made. They're just not surviving. The brain's primary archive for long-term memories is a small seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. It's the thing that binds a memory together. The place, the time, the emotion, the people, the smell, and stitches them into one coherent experience you can replay later. The problem? In infants, the hippocampus is still under construction. It keeps developing through age 2 or 3. And during that exact window, something remarkable and destructive is happening inside it. The hippocampus is generating new neurons at a rate the adult brain will never match again. This process is called neurogenesis. And here's where it gets strange. More neurons should mean better memory, right? Wrong. It's actually the opposite. Neuroscientist Paul Franklin and his team at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto discovered something that turned the field upside down. When new neurons are born in the hippocampus, they don't just add to the existing network, they integrate into it. And in doing so, they disrupt the connections that stored earlier memories. Imagine rebuilding a road while cars are still driving on it. The new infrastructure erases the old paths. They tested this directly in mice. When neurogenesis was slowed down artificially, the mice remembered more. When it was sped up, memories disappeared faster. A clean, direct relationship. So the very process that's building your baby brain is simultaneously wiping its own records. But here's the question that should be nagging at you right now. Why? Why would evolution design a system that erases our past? Here's one compelling answer. The infant brain is optimized for learning, not remembering. In the first years of life, a child absorbs an almost incomprehensible amount of information. How gravity works, how faces convey emotion, how language is structured, how social relationships function. None of that is stored as episodic memory, as a specific Tuesday afternoon moment. It's stored as skills, intuitions, patterns, things that live in a different memory system, one that works from birth. The hippocampus during this period isn't a library, it's a construction site. It doesn't need to archive, "Mom gave me an apple at 2 p.m. on March 14th. It needs to build a universal map of how the world works. And there's one more striking detail. Children who learn a language with a strong sense of time, words like yesterday, tomorrow, before, after, start forming stable autobiographical memories earlier. Language doesn't just describe memory, it helps create it. Here's something that will genuinely surprise you. The age of your earliest memory depends on where you grew up. The Maori people of New Zealand, a culture where oral storytelling and recounting shared history are central to daily life, report first memories from as early as age 2.5. In contrast, adults from Western European and East Asian backgrounds typically can't recall anything before age 3.5, sometimes later. Studies show that the more parents talk with their children about past experiences, "Remember when we went to the beach? What did you see?" the earlier and more clearly those children form autobiographical memories. A memory isn't just a neural recording. It's a story you tell about yourself. And someone has to teach you how to tell it. So here's where we land. Babies form memories, but the infant brain is rebuilding itself so rapidly that new neurons continuously overwrite the old traces. The hippocampus, during this window, is more architect than archivist. And what remains isn't a collection of moments. It's something deeper. Emotional patterns, instincts, the way you attach to people, the things that inexplicably calm you down. You don't remember your early childhood, but it remembers you. The fears you can't fully explain, the way certain songs feel like home, the things that make you feel safe without knowing why. All of that is the echo of those first years. Years your brain considered too important to store as a story, so it turned them into you instead. And honestly, that might be more honest than any memory. What's your earliest memory? Drop it in the comments and tell me how old you were. I want to see if we can build our own little data set right here. If this kind of thing fascinates you, the next video is about something even weirder. Why your brain confidently remembers things that never actually happened. False memories, and how disturbingly easy they are to implant. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it.